Welcome to the Pretty Sister podcast. I'm your host, Callie Stoyer, and I am so happy you're here today. This is a place for you to feel belonging and feel included and to be inspired by your fellow pretty sisters. So thank you for taking the time to join us. I have a very special guest here today. This is one of my nieces, Audrey Linder. You're getting to know my family and my friends, and she's a big part of that. She's somebody near and dear to my heart who I absolutely adore and love.
She's so nice to me.
She is an original pretty little sister who grew up learning the ways of pretty sisterhood, which is a sacred thing in our family. And so, Audrey, I'm going to start as I'm trying to help people understand what this was. What do you remember from being a pretty sister? What memories do you have?
What comes to mind?
What comes to mind when I say that?
Yeah. Well, I think the first thing is tiaras.
Yes.
As a little kid, so we were on the East Coast, and I always remember being with my cousins. And it was so fun because I would go in the basement of your house. I actually don't know how much of this you know, but I just have memories of going in her basement and digging through boxes to find the pretty sister stuff. Because
the coveted pretty sister stuff.
Because to me, I just, I was younger. Like she said, I was a pretty little sister. But I just remember wanting to wear the fun stuff and the pink and the crowns. And
remember the fairy dust? The dream dust that we'd sparkle or sprinkle on you?
Yes.
And to make your dreams come true?
Her sister Martha, she still gets to wear sparkles. She loves her sparkles.
Yes, she'll put sparkles in her eye makeup and anywhere she
put it on me like last week or 2 weeks ago. It lives on.
I love it. I love it.
As a young girl, I just remember wanting to feel pretty. And I think that kind of beauty, that pretty, it's not just a physical thing, but I was always taught it's the way you act and how you treat others.
Yes.
We were taught very well. My mom, you, all my aunts, any pretty sister, it was this: you treat everyone well.
Yes.
Because you are good.
Yes.
That's pretty, is to be good.
You are such a good pretty sister student.
Yes. I learned well.
You learned well. And did that help you feel more beautiful?
I think so.
Just to feel more valuable, your own self-worth and confidence, just kind of growing up knowing this and having everybody speak that to you and call you a pretty sister.
I think growing up, if I could count on anything, is I knew I was loved. And I knew that I had family in my corner. I had friends in my corner. And especially with the pretty sisters, it was this, wow, we just love you. Yeah, it was... you really felt connected to people.
So I like that you said you felt connected to people. And connection is such an important thing, especially at this time in our, day and age, time of life where people are so disconnected and social media and phones and the fact that we don't even, call each other and talk half the time because it's just texting.
That's right.
That creates a lot of this feeling of disconnection and loneliness. But I don't see that for you. You show up to me, and sometimes it's fun to hear how you show up to others. I see you as just happy and very well connected. And you're somebody who's really serving a lot, I think, in your friendships. And I know this because you've thrown a bridesmaids party at my house. You
taught me well.
You've done, what are the parties? You've had several parties. You had a back to
party.
What was the other thing you just did that was huge? It was the bachelorette party that you've done. And every time she decorates and she goes way over the top with creating this experience for these friends of yours. And I'm thrilled to that I'm the closest relative that can host.
Yeah, right.
I'm thrilled to do that because I'm so happy to see you blossoming and just having so much fun with your girlfriends.
Yeah.
And boyfriends sometimes. You've had boys and girls, that you throw parties for. It's great. I love it all. We love it all, right?
We love everybody.
We love everybody, boys and girls. But specifically with friendship, did this pretty sister concept and mindset shape how you approach friendship growing up?
Yeah, I think that's a great question because the first thing that comes to mind, it's my family. I think friends, growing up felt that my family was the most important people to me. And now that I'm older, I don't live with my parents anymore. I'm kind of an adult. I kind of do this college thing.
The college girl.
Yeah. I've learned that the people you want around you, anyone can be family. It's not just people by blood. Even people that don't always maybe you don't have to have a commitment to people to treat them like family or to feel like family. And I think growing up, I loved this Pretty Sister tribe, like you mentioned, because it taught me the importance of you can get together with anyone and have a party and have fun. and you do things for the people that you love because you want this connection.
Yeah.
And you want it to last. You want it to, feed into your week. You want it to make it an impact. And I think my friends, the reason I love my friends is because I've helped them become part of my family. They've invited me in, I've invited them in.
Yes.
And
you have this reciprocal relationship of love and
yes,
commitment to each other, because it is work to be a good friend, don't you think? I mean, are you kind of putting some effort into it? And even when you've gone through new situations, so you moved away from home when you graduated. Well, you moved was it during high school or in junior high you moved in Colorado? You moved a couple of times.
I think it was right before I started high school. So
okay. Yeah. So that's not easy for most people to learn how to make friends. Maybe some of the moving that you did helped you to navigate making new friends, because you did have that move right before high school. You moved to a different state for college and lived kind of close, but a little bit further from even me.
Yeah.
So you were kind of on your own there. You went on a mission and lived for 18 months on your own. You're back to college. So you've had to, it hasn't been easy, has it? Or does it feel easy to make friends? Tell us about that.
Yeah.
Like, how are you doing it? How are you making friends and prioritizing that?
I think now, that's a good question, because now it feels like it's easy to make friends. But when I did have my first move in Colorado, I was so lonely.
Were you?
Middle school was really hard. I felt like I didn't have a lot of friends or people that, I could really connect with and feel close to. And then I had some girls reach out to me, and, it was the classic, they sat with me at lunch, or when I had a birthday party, I wanted to invite a bunch of people. And I had just this group of girls that they were like, we want to come to your birthday party. And some of those friends carried into high school. And then I did sports and made more friends. And I think it all just starts with someone reaching out, whether it's, you reach out to someone reaches out to you and you accept. Just this kind of look out for those people, because you will find friends, honestly, at places you didn't think you'd find them.
So it does take either, you said this, somebody has to reach out, and that could be them or you. So it takes a little work. So it does take some work and some openness and receptiveness. So I think it's important to remember that there's effort on either part, and that might change over time and situationally based on circumstances. But I think to be a good friend, we have to remember that someone, if they're inviting us, say you're the person getting the invitation, it might take some vulnerability on the other person's part, and we need to be mindful of that.
Yeah.
Before we even just turn people down or brush people off or don't respond to a text, or that can hurt some feelings. And I think we could be kinder by accepting. And of course, have boundaries. You can't do everything, for sure. But let's be mindful when people do take that shot, when they shoot their shot. That's what my sons would say. Mom, I had to shoot my shot with a girl. Yeah. Or then if you're not getting invited, you gotta do that yourself. Like, who's responsible for your happiness, Audrey?
We are.
You are. Good girl. Good girl. You're responsible. It's not everybody else's job to make you happy, right? We
create opportunities for ourselves. And sometimes, opportunities, they come to you and it's like, wow, I've been thinking about this and hoping, wishing. But oftentimes, that's something that we have to kind of get up and be a little brave. I think friendships, it also, like that kind of bravery, and you mentioned vulnerability. It's so true. Like, if you want to have a lasting connection with someone and really get to know them, it's not just this passive thing, I'm going to sit next to them. Great, we're friends. Yeah. You kind of got to chat a little and really take an interest in who they are. And that's another thing I learned about from Pretty Sisters is we are interested in who you are, who you want to be. Like, I have all these, these, I think not so much more memories because I feel like I'm a little older now, but feelings. Like I know 100% that I felt safe, I felt loved, and I felt like I had people who wanted me to be someone and to be successful and be happy. And
I'm so glad. I'm so glad you felt that way,
and I still do. That's the best part. Is it lives on.
Yes,
you know.
Well, I think we as aunts, and your mother is one of my best friends in life, and just such an amazing person. But we did love you, little girls like that.
Yeah.
And I'm getting emotional thinking about it, because we had these little babies kind of at the same stage, and these little girls that you love so much, and you see their potential, and you want them to be happy. You want them to know how to be happy and how to cultivate friendships. And I think because friendships were such a happy part of my life, and I know your mom's life, she's such a friendship person. She's got her best friends from high school. Yeah. She's collected friends along the way, and you've watched and seen her grow, as you've grown up, you've seen her.
They all know who I am.
Yeah. You've seen her with her friends, and her friends all love you and care for you. So this tribe of sisterhood was really a big part of things. But we wanted you girls to grow up and have these same blessings and gifts, and the fruits of it, the confidence that comes from women supporting women and being allies to each other. It truly is better together when we're supportive. And so, Audrey, did you have some mean girl experiences?
Mean girl experiences.
And not that you have to bring them up, but just have you run into a time when someone hasn't been nice to you, or it hasn't gone your way, or you felt left out?
I think I've definitely seen the mean girls kind of from the outsider perspective, where I was really lucky to have girls that, were these really supporting girls. But I saw some friendships that just, you hear the classic, a fake friend. And I think when it comes to those fake friendships, the reason was because they didn't genuinely care, I think, for that person's happiness or their success. It's really easy to judge someone, your friend, because you know so much about them. You're with them all the time. And it's easy to judge them for their choices. It's easy to sometimes be jealous too. I think sometimes that's what girls can tap into is, they wish that they had it. And so they can be mean, they can talk bad, they can spread rumors. And I had this friend in high school where we actually saw some of that, and we did not want to be like that. And so she and I were chatting about this actually the other day, is she told me that she was grateful for an experience where I had brought something up with her that I felt like I needed to communicate, for my well-being, for her well-being, for our friendship.
Yeah.
And she told me that she was grateful that I was willing to say kind of the hard thing. And we were in high school. I think this might have been our junior year. And we both just had felt, like we really care for each other as friends. I want you to be happy. And right now I'm not happy. And it's so easy to tap into this. I'm not happy, so I want you to not be happy either.
Too. So I don't know why people do that. Parade.
Yeah. And luckily I had this friend I have this friend. She's still my best friend. We wanted what was best. And so
you communicated.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of maturity, because I think a lot of times people just don't communicate their needs or communicate their experience. And then that back, talk begins, those back channels or the gossiping and whatnot, when direct communication is so much better, and it makes you stronger. It sounds like a major friendship grows stronger because you just were willing to say, hey, this is what's going on. This is what I need. And then because she loved you too, you figured it out.
Yeah.
So I love that. That's so important. And so important that what I'm learning here from talking to you about this, because I think it's fun for me to interview these girls and find out truly, I don't know. So I'm asking these questions. We haven't talked about it prior to this interview, how it's affected you. But I do see you, and I see what's happening in your life, and I see the fun college time that you're having, and it brings me so much joy. But I love that you're sharing with us that when mean girl stuff was happening, it just wasn't for you.
Yeah.
So you just steered away from it. So what that tells me is you knew how to not do it, and know that's not my energy. That's not my vibe. I'm not participating. But it just wasn't attractive to you, and you just let it alone. So you didn't participate. You didn't add to it. You just let it alone.
And And I think,
And you probably, I'm guessing you just was like, all right, you be you and I'm gonna be me, and no hard feelings.
Yeah.
But it's just not for me. And I think that's what we can do. We can just drop it. Just don't do it.
You don't miss it.
Yeah,
you don't. You really aren't attached to it.
And if you're so worried what other people are doing, and I've had this conversation and even seen adult women have this problem of feeling left out and seeing what other people are posting and feeling like people are being cliquey and kind of calling it what it sometimes is, which is sometimes it is mean things. But if you're letting, what you did with that is you just walked away from it and it didn't affect you, which I think is so healthy, because what the trap people get into is when they see that happening and they ruminate over it and they allow themselves to feel left out, and they talk about it too much or gossip about it or just give it too much power and energy over them, which it just doesn't need to happen, because you can just simply decide, oh, that's not for me. Those aren't the behaviors that I do, or I just don't like that. And then go about your life, go about your business, creating your own happy life, your own friendships, your own circles of trust. You're empowered to do that. That's what you get to do, to continue your happiness and to be in charge of it. And you do that naturally. You really do. I love it. What other thoughts do you have about that as I was talking about it?
Yeah.
Anything else to add?
I just think this idea of control, we have a lot more control over how we feel, and not to, dismiss anyone that has maybe like struggles with mental health or, we all feel, right? And
yes.
I think I cried last week. So
yeah,
that's how life goes. We feel hard, but truly we have control on the way that external things can affect us. And I love that you said it doesn't need to have power in our life.
Right.
And I think growing up, one of my very best friends is her daughter, my cousin, and she and we had this little trio. It was us and another cousin, and we all loved to play.
Yes. Of course,
play and hang out, and we loved to be with each other and have sleepovers, and we did a ton of things together. And I can say that there were times where I probably was mean, and just with cousins that you're around. I think I had the conversation with my aunts a couple times where, Audrey, yes, you got to be a little more inclusive.
Well, do you remember? My daughters remember. I often would say that is not a pretty sister thing to do.
Yeah,
because I could just I could diffuse so many things that would go on, because girls are girls, and we are gonna have, yes, we're not raising perfect little angels. And so a lot of teaching was having to go on, and so much of that comes from experience and interactions. But the more we can then talk about it, and stop things in their tracks. So what I would do to stop some bad behavior, or just unintentional bad behavior sometimes, was just to say, hey, that's not a pretty sister thing to do. And then people would just deer in the headlights.
Yeah.
Like, whoa. Okay.
They're like, I want to be a pretty sister.
You're questioning my pretty sister.
Don't take my tiara. Yeah.
And I think it would just cause you girls to think and pay attention to what you were doing and re-correct on your own. Sometimes maybe it needed some more conversation.
Right.
But I think most of the time I could say that one thing, and you girls would straighten up, kind of shoulders back, put my mental tiara back on, and behave.
Yeah.
As a pretty sister would.
Yeah. And it's the same thing now. In all times of life, it's this, who do I want to be? What kind of friend do I want to be? And you could think back to interactions that you have with friends or moments that you guys have had. And it's like, is that something that the pretty sister Audrey version would do? Or is that maybe someone who was feeling hurt and needs to talk or needs to let something go? Yeah, I think this kind of vision of who you want to be and the interactions that you want to have and hope to have can really help you to kind of check yourself of, am I the good friend? Am I the good friend that I want to have?
Yes.
I think that's huge.
That is huge. I love that you said the vision, because vision is so important in so many ways. But the more we can envision our future self, the self that we are, our best self, our potential, our purpose, our happiest self, if we can always see that person, because we fall short, and that's okay.
That's fine.
Yes, we have emotions. and that's okay.
Mhm.
We need to see them, feel them, deal with them. We're not stuffing them down.
Right.
We need to process them. But if we can remember always who we are, if we can hold that vision of ourselves, we can get back to it. We can find it again, right?
Yeah.
And I love that you learned how to do that and that you're committed to doing that.
Mhm. I like the word committed. I'm trying, always trying, and it really does pay off. I in college I have these friends, and so I live with 6 girls. Well, I guess including myself. So there's a lot of us.
Yes.
And one thing that
Sharing what, 2 bathrooms?
2 bathrooms, yeah.
He actually lives in the same dorm that I lived in my freshman year of college. So it's just another little connection point. I feel
brings us
girl.
back.
Yes.
Yeah. And I love it, and we love it. And one thing that
I loved it. I can't believe it's still standing. That was a long time ago.
There's a couple bug infestations, but we have ant traps, so no worries. And I love living with my roommates because we're all on the same page of kind of what we're talking about, what kind of friends we want to be. We talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
We're like, why do we not hate each other? Because sometimes people paint the picture of roommates as you're going to hate your roommate. Good luck. Buckle up in college.
Yeah.
You can't choose. But I think that's not true in the sense of we can choose how we act and how we treat others.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that you mentioned the imaginary pretty sister crown,
Mm-hmm.
because we're not always wearing a crown, or maybe we don't always have our mom there to say, hey, how would you treat your friends? Is that a pretty sister thing to do? But we can
not hear me in your head saying that.
I know. I'm going to go on my life and just remember this. And I just love that we can have those thoughts in our head of, this is who I am. This is who I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to choose this. And my roommates and I mean, we're not perfect, right? We fight over dishes and the fridge. And I don't like to take out the trash and the fridge. Yeah.
You ate my drink, my
soda, my Diet Coke's gone. It's classic, but I think we really can make the most of our friendships and be kind to others, invite them in, have people over, go to their house if they invite you, make those efforts to create those happy experiences, because they're there and we just have to find them and work for them. I think.
Yes. Friendship is work.
It is. Yeah.
It's good work. It's worth it work.
So worth it work.
And you said that you want to be the kind of friend that you want back. And that's a great thing to know young. In fact, earlier when I had one of my best friends, September, on as a mother, we were talking, and she gave that advice as a mother. So how great that you know that as a young girl, and you can live your life being that kind of friend and putting that kind of effort and work into it, because it's going to yield you so many fruits for that labor. I mean, the harvest will be grand as you get to benefit from these friendships. And I'm proud of you, because I'm seeing that happen as you live your best life. And I'm seeing you really be true to some of your words of serving and loving, others, because even when we had the pumpkin patch recently.
Oh yeah. Talk about service.
Well, you and your friends signed up and came up and spent their Saturday up there serving for this cause of Alzheimer's caregivers, and we're adorable doing it, giving time together. So I think as, girlfriends, we can find good, fun, worthy things to do together as friendships. Yeah. And that really strengthens our bonds of friendship when we're out doing good together. Have you experienced that?
Totally. And it's not just this thing where you have to do it alone, right? We can, I think the pretty sister thing is that it's multiple of us. There's a group, there's a tribe.
Yeah.
And I love that you brought that example up, because when I told my friends that my aunt was, looking for volunteers, they were so willing. And one of them, she was like, oh, they need face painting. Oh, I love art. Oh. And she has art all over her wall. And
I
so
love that.
It's just neat when, someone presents an opportunity. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
It connects people, We got a whole 2 hours in the car together. We got to help. And I just think it's this reaching out that all it is it takes one person, whether it was me or you or my friends who wanted to come.
Yeah. And a willingness, you gotta want it and be willing
totally
to take those opportunities, give the opportunities on either side. It's a good thing. Okay. So coming back to vision, that brings me
Mhm.
back to where I want to go and where we're going to kind of end. I love that you're a visionary person.
Oh, yes.
So one of my favorite things is dreaming. And one of the
Oh.
things that I think is so important for girls to remember how to do is dream, like go back to your childhood self.
Mhm.
And when dreaming was so easy, I think oftentimes as we grow up, we get busy in life and other things, maybe you busy in college or
Mhm.
people get busy raising kids and they start to lose sight of their dreams. But my platform is to say that you can always be dreaming and
Mhm.
creating your dreams and believing that they're possible. So,
Yeah.
Audrey, what dreams are you dreaming up? Either think,
Wow,
or I
wow.
would love to hear if there's something you've accomplished a dream that you're proud of. I know there's many things you're proud of that you've done, but or as because you brought up vision, what do you envision in life that you're creating right now?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing in my life right now, I feel the like almost painful effects of it is I'm a college student, bit of a broke college student, but
One that works hard
I do
to,
my best.
yes, to put herself through college. She's amazing, this girl.
Oh, thank you. But when I think of who I want to be, I for sure want to be someone who works hard. And so I would love to have a career, and I dream about wearing a pink pantsuit just like Callie over here.
Girlfriend, you can borrow mine
Yeah.
anytime.
And, getting to work with others, that is a huge thing. I love connections, and now in my college classes, it's all about networking.
Yes.
But I have,
Guilt.
yeah, and I have a lot of fun with it. I've met some really neat people, but I want to do something that is good. And so recently I've been wanting to work, honestly, in human resources
I love
at
that.
the international level. I'm really proud of, I learned Spanish on my mission,
Yes.
and I'm proud that I've continued that.
Ah. That's
Hola.
nice.
Hola. My favorite one, Sophie, was here. It's hola, compañera.
Yes. Hola.
So we love Spanish. That's a huge thing that I'm proud of because it opened so many doors to talk to other people that maybe don't speak English, or even people that they speak both languages, but it just makes them feel, a little more touch of home. And so getting to reach out to others in that kind of way, I would love to do that one day. Make an impact. I don't really like blood or needles, so I don't want to be a doctor. But in another kind of way, getting to connect. And for me, that has turned into I'm gonna get my bachelor's in international business. And I dream about that.
Yes.
I have planned every single college course for my next 3 semesters.
Oh my goodness. This
Until
girl is I believe you. I know you. She's such a planner.
It's in a notebook.
Organized. Yes. And
Yeah.
you got it done. Well, that's a good thing to take note of. When you want to make your dreams happen, you've got to put work into them. You've got to plan it out. You've got to know your steps and be open to change, because I think you've pivoted a little bit.
Oh yeah. Changed my major like 4 times.
Yeah. And it just takes humility to do that. Don't get stuck in pride. That's where we get stuck in not changing. So we just make our next best choice, and then be open to inspiration and personal revelation to what to do next. But plan and just write down those steps to make your dreams happen.
Yeah. A goal is just a dream without a plan. If you want to make something happen, you got to put forth some effort, and it'll start to work out.
Be willing to do the work to get there. And I love that you're doing that. It's a fun stage of life in college where you have to go through the iterations of figuring out what you want to do, and you have these dreams of it. And I tell you now, and it's a very worthy dream. The way she said that she wants to serve and help others. Anytime we are putting forth an effort to serve and help other people, I think we get the divine assistance that we need to make that happen.
Right.
And we have more joy in that process as we are helping, because we're outside of ourselves and we're not caught up in thinking about ourselves. And I think it brings so much more happiness as we serve in that way, because a lot of the loneliness and depression that can be experienced is when we're stuck a little bit too worried about ourselves.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about clinically. That can be a whole different level. But we can often rise out of those unhappy circumstances by putting our focus and shift on others and how we can serve, how we can show up, how we can love more, and be of service is a beautiful thing. and doing that with a lot of gratitude, which I know you have and hold a place for in your heart, because I can't tell you how many times you've thanked me. He's like the most thankful, sweet person.
Oh.
Anytime she asks for something, it's like, yes, because you're so sweet and kind and you clean up after yourself and all the good things.
You are so sweet to me.
That of course you can have whatever you want. That's the secret, is be really sweet, kind, and people will give you whatever you want. Sure, you're a delight. You bring joy into my life, and I think everyone's life that you go to. And that's a good, you probably do that unknowingly, but let's just tell you listeners that the more positive energy you bring to the table, the more people want to be around you, because you lead with that positivity, and it's very, very nice. And I think that people need that. Yeah. We need that for each other. We need to show up for each other with that big heart, that big love, and it really helps. And in the process of doing that, we do create our dreams. And so you're going to do this college, big girl, get your college degree, get your career going, which will be fun to watch and see. And then you're going to dream some more. I'm just telling you, then you're going to have another dream and another dream, and just keep on dreaming. I love that, because your dreams will come true. This is the land of Disney and Pretty Sister World.
And sparkles, right? And
fairy dust and crowns. Yeah. It's the place where we believe that your dreams will come true.
Actually, if I could, there's something that you made me think of. Is there some sort of quote where it's like, when you are so busy, let's say fairy dust, okay? Sprinkling fairy dust on other people, a little splashes on you. Yes. And I think that it's so true I love that. As you dream and you incorporate others, let people help you. People want to serve. It helps them feel good. It helps them, reach out to others. That's a great feeling. And you get to do the same. It really does splash on you. And then look, now we're all sparkle full.
Sparklified.
Yeah, exactly.
That is so wonderful and such a great thing to even end on. Well, and even, we talked about the pumpkin patch. That was my girlfriend's dream. And then she got her friends involved, and over years and years, it's grown into this bigger magical thing that more and more people now got to be involved in. Yeah. Thousands of people
to it.
came. Yeah, it's a beautiful new tradition for a beautiful cause. And we talk about getting sprinkled with fairy dust. Yeah. We didn't have literal fairy dust there, but it felt like it. That's what's behind the fairy dust. Yeah. Is just the magical feeling that comes when you're loving, serving, friendshiping, giving of yourself, and receiving in return, because it's splashing everywhere.
Exactly.
We're bathing in fairy dust. We're all sparkling, and it's a beautiful thing.
We love it.
Thanks for reminding me of that. And thank you all for being here. I hope that you heard something today that will help you in your life as you navigate friendship and sisterhood. And also, just more importantly, I hope you feel a place of belonging and love, and know that you are worthy, you are beautiful, you are pretty, just like this little Audrey of mine, who is the most adorable thing on planet Earth.
You're sweet.
And I know I've benefited from hearing from her, and I hope you did today too. So we will see you next week. And until then, stay pretty. Until next week, have a good one. Bye-bye.
See ya.